特別番組として駐日フランス大使クリスチャン・マセさんと前橋市長の対談の模様をお送りします。
Mr. Masai, welcome to Tsu.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for welcoming me in Tsu. It's really a great pleasure to be with you.
Thank you.
And to see you again because you came to Tokyo at my office, and so for me it's a big pleasure just to be able to reciprocate and to be in this wonderful city of Tsu with this
yes,
beautiful sea.
The sea is welcoming you.
Absolutely. Thank you very much.
The weather is welcoming you.
No, yes, I know. That's great. That's great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Please have a seat.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you for coming to city of Tsu, Mr. Masai. It's the third time for us to discuss, to meet with each other. So finally you came here. You have the chance to come here. So I heartily welcome you here.
Thank you very much, Mae-san, for welcoming me in this beautiful city of Tsu. I've had the opportunity to see you twice in Tokyo at my office, and really for me it's such a great pleasure to be able to reciprocate, and thank you very much for the visits that already I've had of the city of Tsu. Wonderful city, very dynamic, and I was already very flabbergasted by your dynamism and what you told me about the city of Tsu when you were in Tokyo, but I could witness all of this here. And thank you also for having this opportunity to talk with you in this beautiful surrounding, because we have a beautiful sea and beautiful sunshine. It's absolutely a remarkable place. So thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Thank you very much to say so, because the sunshine is welcoming you, and the sea is welcoming you, and the citizens of Tsu City is welcoming you, because this program will be broadcasted to the citizens of Tsu. So today I'd like you to talk about your career and your relationship to Japan between you and Japan, because I know that you were appointed to be the French ambassador to Japan in December 2011.
Yes,
right?
So, yes,
okay. So you spent 1.5 years in Japan. So correct. You traveled privately or officially all over Japan. But what you think about your impression about Japan and the relationship with you and Japan and you and this area?
Thank you. First, bonjour to the citizens of Tsu. In fact, before coming here, I had not been posted in Japan, but I had the opportunity to travel to Japan many times. Especially in my previous position, because I was in charge of G8 and G20 matters and economic relationships. Yes. And so I had the opportunity to come here to see my Japanese colleagues, and also to be here for the Toyako Summit of the G8. And it is during these trips that I had the opportunity to come to Nagoya and just to first discover this area, which is absolutely beautiful. But I must say that being in Japan, it's really a lot of discoveries, because already I knew during my trips that Japan obviously was a very important country and with a very important role in the world. Also, I discovered really I knew about the beauty of Japan, and also about the great satisfaction that I had working with my Japanese colleagues. But obviously all this developed quite considerably since I arrived here, and so for me it's all the time a great moment of pleasure and satisfaction to live and work in Japan. And I like very much traveling outside Tokyo, because I think that really the real Japan is outside Tokyo, and I like very much this area of Nagoya, because it is full of history, of economic activity, and also beautiful landscape, and I must say also of very good food. because I know that you have very good beef.
Yeah.
I also drank some sake, so very excellent. So
You
it's,
like
yes,
Japanese
yes.
sake.
Yes. And also we see you are close to the Ise-Jingu, which
Ise-Jingu,
is
yes.
a very special place for not only for Japanese but for all travelers to Japan, because this is really a very moving and astonishing place, and so for all of us traveling to Japan or living in Japan, to go to Ise-Jingu is really very important.
Yeah, yes. I'm very I'm very happy to hear that you are very enjoying your days here in Japan.
Very much so, very much so.
And of course, officially, you have a big responsibility to have a good relationship with between France and Japan. So this time, I'd like to talk with you about some economic points related to the city of Tsu, because we have some relationship with France and Japan, and France and Tsu in some economic points aspects. So before that, talking about the official points as a mayor, I'd like to talk a little bit private matter, my personal matter with regarding the relationship with France of myself. And
with great pleasure. Yes,
you know that I was
I'm very curious.
Yes, I was working for an international investment bank whose head office is in Paris. So for 5 years, I was working for that bank. So I was traveling as often as every 3 months to Paris. So I'm very attached to France, and my favorite is, of course, talking with French colleagues and about, of course, and drinking wine, French wine.
So you have had great responsibilities of this French-based company.
Yes,
French-based bank.
Yes. As an official, as a mayor, I'm happy to continue the relationship with France as a mayor, because I had a chance to welcome the French French company to the industrial site in Tsu. I'm talking about the Saint-Gobain.
Yes.
So you were very kind to support the activities, to choose. Of course, they have a kind of many discussion about where to go in the western side of Japan. But after this to be decided to come here, Saint-Gobain is very happy to be able to extend their business from the eastern area of Japan to the western area of Japan.
Thank you. Yes, so Saint-Gobain, Mag Isover extension Itsu is for us a very important matter. It has been planned by the company, and obviously the French embassy follows this very closely and will do all it can do in order precisely to have this implemented. And I wanted to ask you, how did you manage precisely to get in touch and contact Saint-Gobain Mag Isover, which is a very big company, and how did you manage to lead them to decide to build their new plant in Tsu?
We're happy to say that we succeeded to invite them to the city of Tsu after some kind of the hard competition between other places they were considering. However, in August 2011, just after the East Japan big earthquake, they decided to diversify their plant, not only from the only one sole plant in the west, when the eastern Japan, to the diversify their plant not only from the eastern Japan but for the western Japan. So many industrial sites were in their mind to choose. However, in August 2011, Mr. François-Xavier Lénard, who is the CEO of Mag Isover Japan, came to here to see the new factory Hisai. And Mr. Suzuki, the governor of Mie Prefecture, and I had a talk with him over lunch, and we had a very frank discussion about the, of course, the advantage of this area for the industrial site, and they liked, in fact, the site because there are some good points, but on top of that, French people like greenery.
Yes.
So the site is surrounded by the green parts, so they loved it, so they decided to come here.
But I know very well Mr. Linhart, and he's a very nice man, and I understand that you have established a very good relationship together, and he talks to me very often of Tsu, and obviously he found really that also it was a remarkable hub. I mean, in terms of communication, it was really an ideal place precisely to locate an extension of their business. And so they have planned the extension, and so it will go on. Obviously, the pace has to be decided, and but it will be done.
They are planning to invest around 15 billion Japanese yen by the end of 2015. So, and on top of that, they are planning to hire, employ around 75 graduates from the university here or the high school graduates here. So that means that they want to be localized, to be the kind of the Japanese plant.
Yes,
that is a very important point.
Yeah, absolutely, this is a way of thinking. Really, it's a Japanese plant working with Japanese engineers.
Yeah.
And also, what is particular is Saint-Gobain Magistrat is a very technological company.
Yes,
it is really high tech, and for example, they have good connections and agreements with great national state laboratories in Japan, and so they cherish very much their activities in Japan and want really precisely to have this as Japanese managed as possible.
Yes, that is very important point, and we welcome them because of the big invest, but also not only for the big invest, but also to be a kind of the have a relationship with the companies here in Tsu. So that is very important point. And happily to say that not only for that kind of the big industry, big companies, but also for the small and medium-sized enterprises, SME, wants to have a relationship with France. So that is another point to discuss today.
Yes, you talked to me about this relationship between SMEs when we met at the end of last year, and you reported me really great progress on that, because that's for us it's very important, because development of relationship between SMEs is a priority of France, and we very much believe that there is a big potential between Japan and France. And as you mentioned, what is very important is when you talk about SMEs is to have a kind of dialogue between territories and clusters to clusters.
Yes, territories,
and precisely this is what you have been developed, and so we very much support that, and really we want really to be part of what you are doing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So can you tell me more about it now?
Thank you very much for assisting us to have a kind of the cluster-to-cluster relationship and region-to-region relationship between France and Japan, France and Paris and Tsu, and Rhône-Alpes and Tsu, because you know that you have a French company, French SMEs has a good skill of technology or the kind of the business to be able to extend their business and production to the world. However, in some SMEs in Tsu also has it, and to collaborate with each other is a very good point to be able to extend their business by expanding their business with for each strong skills they have to be collaborated. It's a very important point.
That's a very important point. the important point is partnership, using the, as you
Partnerships,
mentioned, the complementarities, because the skills are different. Also, the knowledge maybe of some markets are different, but when they regroup, they act together. They are stronger together. Also for global markets, not only between France and Japan, but also to go elsewhere in Asia, in Europe. And there is also a very important point, which is that last month, so in March, Japan and the European Union have decided to launch negotiations for an economic partnership agreement, EPA, kind of free trade agreement, and that's obviously it will take some time to be negotiated and concluded, but it's transformational, and this means that in fact there will be much more opportunities, and we have to prepare right now. And I think that what we are doing by this region-to-region dialogue, by this cluster-to-cluster dialogue, is really precisely good preparation to exploit all the opportunities that will derive from this EPA.
I'm happy to hear about the news for the to start the negotiation for EPA, and that's a national aspect, and the local aspect we will be able to have a good relationship. And of course, the efforts of the enterprises will need the official help, a kind of the public help to finalize their negotiations. So ARD, which is a Paris Region Economic Development Agency, and City of Tsu agreed to have an agreement, conclude an agreement supporting those industrial activities for the collaboration. And I signed with ARD the agreement last November. Yes. And we discussed with ARD. I discussed with ARD about the possibility to help those activities of the SMEs, because you know that SMEs have a kind of the face-to-face relationship. However, they are very close to the final transaction for them to be able to collaborate. However, some kind of the knowledge for the business practice or some knowledge of the kind of the markets will be necessary for them to be informed by the official organizations.
So more information and support for the final push. Yes.
That's why we are helping them to enhance their negotiation by providing them the information about the business world practice. So we have Tsu City has an international relationship coordinator whose name is Mr. Kajita. He will be in the lunch today, and he is helping them to give them the information about the real business, because he was working for the Japanese company, international trading company, in the very old days. Yes.
So we, as French Embassy, we are very happy to support your action, because it's really quite important, and I think that it could be seen as a kind of pilot action. That could be maybe also followed by other cities in Japan, in order precisely to seize the opportunities of this opening of trade and business between Europe and Japan.
So, thank you. So I hope this support will lead to the real business transaction in the very near future.
I hope so, and I'm very glad that over lunch we'll have an opportunity precisely to discuss with a number of businesses or SMEs of Tsu, precisely to talk very precisely about their projects and how we can precisely support what they are doing.
Yes, and please listen to them what they are doing now, and please advise them how to conclude their efforts to be the real transaction.
No, I'll do that. I'll do that with great pleasure.
Thank you. And we are having this interview at a place called Nagisamachi Bay Sisuka, which is Bay Sea sky,
Yeah.
basic
Beautiful,
sky.
beautiful,
And
beautiful.
maybe
Basic sky, yes.
the boat is about to arrive, Mr. Mase, from the Nagoya International Airport to here. So, Mr. Mase, let me take you to the platform and let's continue the discussion on the platform. Because the sunshine is
Beautiful.
nice today. So let's go outside.
Thank you very much, Maeba-san. Enjoyed very much talking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup. Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Thank
Merci
you.
beaucoup.
Now we come to the platform, close to the platform of the boat. So this is a high-speed boat, which is linked to the central area by 45 minutes boat ride. And this boat is comfortably go to the airport. So I would say that Tsu Harbor is linked to the world by this boat.
Yes,
what do you think about it?
It's very impressive. It's a brand new development. First, also it's in a very nice location, and I can see a very modern and high-speed boat, and many people coming down. This means that it is very busy, and obviously that means that really it materializes this connection of Tsu with the global markets, with the globalized world.
Globalized, yes.
So I can see that once again, and through this development, Tsu is really at the vanguard of of Japan. Yes, it's really congratulations. Congratulations.
Yes, and of course, economic is important, and transportation is very important, and for the peace of the citizens is very important.
Yes.
So I will make my efforts to enhance our welfare of citizens for the citizens of Tsu, and to activate the economics of Tsu.
Absolutely, because I think that really to boost the economy, connections are absolutely essential, especially now in a globalized world.
Yeah.
And as I mentioned to you, Saint-Gobain Magisover decided to invest here because of good connections, and this is an extra good connection that you are adding, and this to go directly from Nagoya International Airport to the rest of the world,
to France also.
and to Paris.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Masa, today, and coming here, and I enjoyed discussing with you, the conversation with you.
I enjoyed it also enormously, and thank you very much for everything you showed me, and also for offering us this wonderful weather and these spectacular views of the new Tsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Merci.
Thank you.
Merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Domo arigatou gozaimashita.
Je vous en prie. Okay.